Hello everybody and welcome to a sort of a coverage video of what is going on so far in the esports tier 1 scene. Um and the main reason why I want to do this and talk about is Katowice. Katowice is coming up. It's starting the qualifiers, which is what this is, the play-ins, is starting on the 15th, which is Tuesday, and actual Katowice is going to be starting immediately after the qualifiers are over. And main thing I want to talk about this is Katowice is the first LAN that we're getting, as the other big tier 1 event that has happened so far was Blast Premiere, the groups for spring groups. That was online, and we were able to see some of the teams play and some of the roster changes and all the roster moves, and we were able to start to like get an idea of like how all these teams stand and stack up against each other. But Katowice is just going to give us just more to look at in terms of what we should start to expect out of all these teams from going forward in this season of 2022. But there was just like a bit to cover because there has been, I want to talk about what has happened so far in Blast and what I think to expect in Katowice. And not only that, I want to talk about some of the news that has come out around Katowice, as there's been some rosters changing slightly here and there due to unfortunate circumstances. But I just want to talk about all this. So to get started, let's talk about Blast Premier Spring Groups 2022. This is pretty good, I would say. I would rate this as pretty good. Give us a good idea of kind of like what we knew and like what we didn't know. But the main big things is that the teams, let me scroll down here. FaZe, they brought in Rops, which now is like an amazing lineup. Vitality, they brought in the Dupree Magic Zonic trio, which is now, they got this split French, other half Danish team, which is crazy. They did really well, placed third or top 3 really. G2 had an amazing showing with Monacy and XCB. Pretty sure, yeah, they did qualify for the spring finals. Navi had a shaky performance. Well, let me go back. They did lose some of their games, and they had to go all the way in. They did lose the NIP as well, but they were able to take NIP out later on. Yeah, Navi lost both their maps in their group, which was pretty surprising because it's Navi, major winners of PGL Stockholm last year, and they won every LAN they attended, and it was really crazy stuff. I really liked what I saw out of OG. Nexa has continued to show why, has like made people remember what he was known for on like his older teams, his other teams such as like Crazy and the other teams before that, before he was on G2. But as he was a fragging IGL, but you can't do much fragging when you have Nico and Hunter on there, and and now they have they had Kenny S in there. You can't do much fragging with those people on there. Those people are gonna they're gonna get every kill they can, and so there were some other teams such as Astralis, who a lot of people started to remember and realize that oh, this team has like problems, and there's a lot of role problems that I saw. I'm pretty sure it was MSL, and he tweeted out some of the stuff about it. Yeah, Astralis didn't qualify for the finals, but they will get another chance in the showdown. But yeah, he was pointing out that Zipix and Glaive, they gave up some of their roles, and just to give Blame F space, and people were pointing out, well, that's not a very good idea, you know. And there were some like moments during some of the games that I was seeing where Blame F was committing like way too hard on his lurk, because he's very much known for like these lurks that are like really late. But there was like a it was like way more than a few. I'm pretty sure it was more than just a couple of times, unlucky times, where Blame F was like lurking like way too hard, and so that is something that has been criticized for a very long time. But he is the highest rated player on here, mainly due to because probably somewhat due to the fact that he probably has all his roles from complexity. But who knows? There are other problems on Astralis than just roles. But that is something they need to be able to fix if they're gonna continue to stick with this lineup, or they gotta change something now with their roster. Um, but yeah, complexity got to show what they were made of. They showed a bit early on versus Gambit on another tournament. I think it was the Pinnacle tournaments, the winter. I think maybe it was something else. But they also played in the ESL Challengers today, which they played against VP. They don't look terrible. They just need some time. But copium, because fucking NA. Okay, so talking about Liquid, they have Shocks from Vitality and Nitro, who, in a not so surprising but somewhat to those who weren't probably paying attention, he moved to Counter Strike to Valorant, and now he moved back from Valorant to Counter Strike now, and so now we have Nitro back in the scene of CSGO, and we also have OC from Extra Salt, the Extra Salt team. Moving on to EG, we have a major winning core, and we have Rush, Automatic, Stewie 2K, major winners, you know, major winners, you know. We have Breeze, excellent player. Cirque, he's a great opper. He is a gem of an opper, underrated, you could say. But they didn't have too impressive of a showing, but they are on their way. They are moving in the right direction. They just more time, I guess. But that's what they all say. The play-in for Katowice. Moving on to Katowice. Now I've covered Blast. Let's talk about the event that's going on tomorrow, or you might as well today. On Tuesday of this week. Let's go with that. And we're gonna get a lot more Counter Strike being played. Almost everything here is a BO3 except the first round. All of Katowice today, except the grand finals, is a BO3. The grand finals is a BO5 for whatever reason, but you know, it's ESL. They like doing the BO5s, even though it's not like. That's a story for another day, though. Yeah, there's some besides the teams that I talked about from Blast. I would like to mention that a lot of people have been saying that Device for NIP, on topic of NIP, people have been saying, oh, they shouldn't bring Device back in. You know, leave Fuzi. He's been doing pretty good. I would just like to say that I agree that Fuzi has been doing pretty good. He's been carrying his weight. Probably not as on some maps more than others. But Device will obviously be way better than Fuzi. And it's just like a very weird idea that some of the people have that Fuzi is just better than Device, multi-major winner, 4-time major winner. You know, number 3 like multiple years in a row on the top 20 HLTV rankings. You know, so if NIP can survive, which shouldn't be too rigorous, they can manage to wait out until Device comes back and he's feeling better to play Counter Strike. Godsend is a team that I have been somewhat interested. I think it's just amazing how far Taco has been able to bring all these players, all these talents from the Brazilian, and try to bring them together and form like an actual team. Because Brazil has a lot of talent. There's a lot of people there that play Counter Strike and are really good. It's very hard to like bring them together, and I think Godsend is on a really good path, and I think they're probably, I think besides Furia, I think they are like the highest rated Brazil team. They did qualify for the major somewhat. They didn't get too ridiculously high, but they got up there. Yeah, but that's all I have to say. I just very interested in what Godsend have going on over there. I think it's very cool what they have going on there and interesting. Fnatic, they have a 4 British players, a coach, but they have moved away from the Swedish branding that they're known for and now have a British core, which was crazy to me to think about, that Fnatic would be a British team at this time. I would never believed you if you've told me. But they've had this team for some months now, and they've been grinding through the tier 2 because Fnatic had lost a lot of their ranking and their downfall and or not downfall, but like rearranging of the team and the team falling apart and everything. So this team had to grind back up, but it wasn't too difficult for them because they were kind of beast moding it, making their way through all the competition. But I really like Fnatic. I really like this team. I'm very interested, and I hope they do well in the tournament. Proceeding to Copenhagen Flames. This team made it pretty far into the major, and I'm really excited to see what else they have in store. Something I'd like to point out is that Movie Star Writers, the Complexity team, had some unfortunate news, and their team had to forfeit their spot for Katowice, and so Movie Star Writers was the next like highest rated team for EPL points, the Play Tour points or whatever. And so now Movie Star Writers is in tournament going up against Big, I think, yeah. And so I just like to point that out. Mouse, they have a very interesting lineup going on over here. They have NBK, who moved back from Valorant. I'm really excited to see what he's got over there. Not only that, they have just look at this team. They have Torzy in there from the academy. Also, JDC is in because I'm pretty sure, yeah, BMAS is supposed to miss due to unfortunate news. He will be replaced by JDC. So hopefully Mouse can do. They've had a rough one past year, but it all hasn't been lost. A fully international roster, as you can see, everybody from a different country of origin. So I'm really excited to see what Mouse have going on over in their camp. Hopefully they do well. Something else I'd like to point out is that Renegades have Lias on their team, which is crazy to me. This is from earlier today. They have Lias from the 100 Thieves roster that got dropped during 2020. Most of the 100 Thieves roster went to an organization called Extremum, but when they failed to qualify for Stockholm, Extremum kind of dropped the roster. But Lias, they haven't played since. I'm pretty sure Jacob and all the sorts have found some teams. And I think it's like Apex, or I think it is Apex or Maybe it's Flush's team, Gorillas. Besides the point. I'm really excited to see how Liaz does. They're going up against OG. I don't know if I'm going to stay up for that. These are all very early in my time zone. That's what I get for living in North America. But exciting stuff so far. There's a lot of exciting stuff. I don't know if I mentioned it. Maybe I have. Maybe I'll mention it again. This is a LAN. This is a high stakes tournament. First LAN of the year. I did mention that. I'm pretty sure. But this is for like a lot. I don't think there's gonna be a crowd, but this is like gonna really like show us. Like, not only are we getting more maps, we're getting more Counter-Strike. It's BO3, so we're gonna like the winner is like the true winner in a sense. You can't argue against them. But yeah. It's just it's a LAN, you know. It's like there's not gonna be like any issues with like the online and stuff, and you know everyone's gonna have very very similar ping, you know, off by maybe like 1 or 2, but this should be very very exciting. Just to touch on some of these teams, as I mentioned, Navi had been a shaky last, but they qualified still. Gambit, I enjoy watching Gambit. I enjoy the team. I enjoy how I find it very interesting and quite cool that this was the academy roster and they moved up to Gambit. Now they're looking at standing at number 2 right now. They were number 1. Vitality, they got a very interesting lineup going on over there. G2, a lot of people are saying Monacy next GOAT, next Simple, you know. I'm very interested to see how he performs. Hope he does good. Heroic, huge Heroic fan. I hope Heroic does good. You know, the best Danish team right now. If I was Danish, this would be my favorite team. But I'm not. So, but I will look forward. Still root for these guys. Furia have a very interesting team going on right here. They have Safe from Pain Gaming. And he's like their main opera-ish. He didn't do terrible in the ESL Challenger. I'm not sure. I didn't watch too many of the games. I did watch the grand finals, but Furia got like destroyed by Virtus Pro in the ESL Challengers tournament that ended today. Yeah. But they also have the drop. So Furia has had some changes in the past couple months. But I do somewhat like this team. The Art, I think, is a great player. Some of these are great players. Keserada and Yuri, great players. They play Counter-Strike different. I'm pretty sure everyone knows that. They got the PB Bisons and stuff. Liquid again. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to touch up on this and like really explain. There's some really interesting stuff going on over here in the Counter-Strike side of the universe. But if you are somewhat interested at all, I highly recommend you watch this. You don't have to watch the play-ins as much, but you should definitely watch the main event that's happening on, what is it, Thursday? Yeah. So I'm very excited for this. So I think I've said my piece. I think I'm going off into where I'm just rambling here, but I do appreciate for you to send through all this. What is this? 20 minutes, yeah, on the dot. And so do all the rituals, basic YouTube rituals, subscribe, like stuff. But thank you for watching. I have said everything I want to do. Watch Katowice. Go now, check the other videos on my channel. They are just you know, maybe you'll find some stuff you like there. Maybe it's I would like to publish more high quality videos on this weird wacky channel of mine. It's very but I am working in the background. This is just to help fill the void and emptiness that is the YouTube channel of Ben Jr. 1546. But that is it for me. That is it for me. I'm talking way too much here. Thank you. as always, I will see you in the next video. Peace.